battery. Yep, it wasn't plugged in.
Mhm. Yeah, so the division about division, I mean, it's pretty clear, mashallah, that God says the dividers are those who uphold the Quran partially. So obviously that causes the division because the we're supposed to uphold and nothing but the Quran. When
Mm,
we say the whole Quran, that means not we're not upholding it partially. We should
mm,
uphold the whole Quran, right?
mm,
And these people who end up dividing, have issues with some part of the Quran. I mean, I was actually thinking about it. I mean, last night when you see, like, someone asked a question um, a few days ago online, like asking me if I was connected to if our group was connected to Peter, you know, and that
mm,
made me think about it. I was like, no, obviously, not connected to that deviant person. And then I was thinking about like how people would perceive that, you know, and if that is the vision or not, and just going through the whole concept, and and I mean this shows that the people who divide the religion, I mean, you can't stop other people from dividing, right? I
mm,
mean,
yeah.
you want to uphold the Quran, the whole Quran, but if someone wants to, create innovations, I mean, how can you, how can you say uh, anything, to try to prevent that, right? I mean, are you going to say like, I mean, you might as well be with the traditional Muslims then,
Mm,
because you don't want to divide. Like that doesn't. It's not us who are dividing if we're going to stick to God's commandment. If people want to go astray, I mean, they can go astray. We're not going to go astray with them and say we're part of their group, and befriend
mm,
them at that point, right?
What is just on that same note? Yesterday someone asked me, what does wallahi mean? So, but I didn't. Or no. They sorry. It was a coworker. He was on his off days, but something happened.
Uh-huh.
I messaged him, and
Uh-huh.
then we were just on the phone, and then he was like, "Hey, so do you say wallahi?" And he's genuinely curious. Like he's very respectful of like things I've told him
Uh-huh.
and stuff. He's still learning.
Hmm.
But
No,
but
say people who swear to God all the time,
yeah,
mention God
mashallah.
like
So
as they're swearing.
that's what I told him. I wasn't sure, but I didn't even know what wallahi means. But all I remember, I used to work for these people. This was called Samir's Rug, Oriental Rugs, and this was like back in 20. I think 2015, 2016. But he would say, I mean, he was a Mohammedan, but he would say it all the time. Like he'd say, Wallahi, and like him and his nephew and stuff, and then his brother. And I knew they were idol worshipers, so I just told him, I just remembered that, and I told him, I was like, no, I said, I don't say that. I said, it sounds like you're not supposed to use God's name in vain. And I said, I think that's what they're doing, but no, I don't say that. And it
mm,
says the people that are probably used are saying that. I says they aren't even don't even think of them as Muslims or following
Hmm.
the Quran because they're
Hmm.
not Muslims. I said they don't even follow or believe in the Quran. I
Hmm.
said it's good, but it's so hard, like this is something, especially as like I mean, coming from Christianity, like as a Christian trying to explain to others because there's so much just garbage out there, and
Hmm.
it's hard. It's hard and it's easy like to explain, but it's hard to because it takes time to like show them all the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they mention God's name to appear righteous.
right,
mm,
right. Yeah, I was so that. What does wallahi even mean?
It means like you swear to God.
You swear to
mm,
God. So it's like
yeah.
someone saying, "Oh, I swear to God." Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, by God, yeah. In the basically, mostly in Middle East, they say always, if you say something, they'll ask you, "Wallah," and they force you to swear by God. Oh, most of the time.
How do they say voila like that?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Pakistan too, people say that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it makes sense. Because like whenever that person would say it, like it's all he was always trying to convince. Like it was something he was either trying to sell somebody something or convince. I'd hear him on the phone, but I never knew what it meant. But,
yeah. So that's why God said in the Surah 224, don't talk God's name in vain. So God already knew that people will use this slang always. So God already warned uh, to us, do not subject God's name to your casual swearing, that you may appear righteous, pious, or attain credibility among the people. God is here as nowhere. So God already knew the people are going to do
Yeah.
the same thing. So, and we see in our
I mean, they're
like,
already doing it also probably when the Quran is being revealed, right? I mean,
oh, maybe okay, maybe that time
yeah.
also they used to do this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the same thing happening. History
Yeah.
always same thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They were doing also, and they still keep people always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, there's also people like what I heard growing up a lot. Like how people say, "quote I swear to God," but it wasn't. It was more like taking God's name in vain, and it was like to I guess gain trust or something. But um, like even I knew, and like what I was taught as a kid, like that was very bad because you're not supposed to take God's name in vain. Like it was sacrilegious, to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like that was put like instilled in us. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think someone said like be careful, like, you get struck by lightning or something like don't just swear like take God's name in vain or you know but yeah, some like what I've seen people do it was just I guess to like gain trust or something or even I mean non-believers though uh like you still see like people swear and they don't believe in God either but they're still swearing like to try to convince somebody of something.
Yeah, mashallah. I mean, all these blessings that God is reminding us of. Like there's so many verses in this surah. I mean, and that's not even all of it. Like in other uh, verses too, following this surah. I mean, the title of this chapter is the bee, right? And it's also talking about the honey and everything else. Um, so I mean, Quran has all the details that we need, and God is talking about, still talking about all these things in so many verses, which shows the significance of remembering that. We have to think about God, right, with all these blessings, and these blessings give us the opportunity to be close to God and appreciate Him, when and make God our God. So, and I think for me too, like when I was, on in the process of becoming a submitter, like these types of verses really I enjoyed reading a lot, because it helped me think about God in a different light, like that you don't um normally, think about these things, right? But when God, who created all these things, and is talking about these things, it makes you really reflect if you pay attention to these verses, not just on the blessing part itself, but on God's design and I mean His omnipotence and His wisdom, mashallah. I mean, especially like say when it talks about the landmarks, he created landmarks as well as stars to be used for navigation. Like, I mean, we don't think about these landmarks. For example, you go somewhere, you remember the directions because you have those landmarks registered in your memory, right? You don't thank God for placing this sign over here and that sign over there so that you can remember your way back, Or like just simply, GPS navigation that God has given us, for us to be able to, and the names that we have for all these roads and stuff, it makes it so much easier for us. And then the stars for navigation, I mean, which is amazing in itself, because there's like 57 celestial navigation stars that are there, which is a multiple of 19, that they recognize as the stars that they use for navigation.
SubhanAllah.
Mm. And God talks about the sea. I mean, if you think about all the amazing creatures that God has created, you know, just for you to be able to eat from the sea, right? I mean, the entire ecosystem is based on that, right? I mean, you have, and God has a perfect system where there's no waste, right? Anything that creates some waste is consumed by some other creature in some other form, or the same creature in a different form, and he continues to, provide for us this way, anytime you look at any creature anywhere, that's created for you, for God to, provide that your provisions, because if this thing didn't exist, you know this I mean this would disrupt your ecosystem, and all that is God says He created for us in a perfect balance. And there's so much, I mean, all these like single cell creatures, that don't even have like a brain or a heart, and they function independently. Like how, right? God makes all of that work for you. Um, Subhanallah. I mean, imagine on the day of judgment, I mean, how these people will feel when they see God and they realize that they had been thanking all their idols the whole time, and they realize the reality of what they were worshiping.
Yeah, it's a gross injustice. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I've said it before because it was I think the first time I've seen. I think you might have seen this before, brother, or you said
Mm-hmm.
when I shared it before, but I was just flabbergasted at this person on Instagram. I've
Mm-hmm.
had them do like some commission artwork, but I saw them post something about Jesus creating like they live in Oregon, but
Mm-hmm.
she was thanking Jesus, and I was just mind blown because I've never seen this like from Christians
Mm-hmm.
before. But I think I saw it again like later on. But she was
Mm-hmm.
thanking Jesus for the trees. Like she had a picture with her coffee, and
Mm-hmm.
then like the trees. There's some beautiful evergreen trees,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, what? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, it was so out, like illogical. I'm like, well, how, like, he's not even here. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
y'all worship him, but anyway, like, I messaged them and then, I've, talked to her at different points
Mm-hmm.
before about different things, but like, then I was able to talk about submission and then, ask her like good questions and, make her, incite her, to reflect
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But I think, like they're just, devoted to their idols. But yeah, like you said, like imagine, like, I mean, these people, if they continue and persist in this and they die in this state, I mean, what an injustice. I mean, you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking, like the verse says, they're worshiping really nothing. Like it's terrible, to think. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I was a long time ago. You know, I was part of this channel on Facebook that was about food. You know, from a certain part of Pakistan. You know, and someone posted a picture of a hamburger. You know, that you can get. And it was a nice looking hamburger. You know,
mm.
and under that, someone started praising Muhammad. Imagine what does that have to do with
Just for
Muhammad?
a hamburger, like,
Yeah, but it's pretty common now, you know. It's pretty common. Like,
hmm
yeah, I remember I told you guys like, you know, hold on, I went to her brother's wedding, and from the bride side of the family, you know, like the whole wedding, entire wedding, like I would say, I'm not exaggerating, I would say like 70-80% of the wedding, they were just praising Muhammad. You know, they were dancing and clapping and praising Muhammad, you know. And they think that by doing that, you know, that will bless the wedding, you know, so
yeah,
bad. Yeah.
yeah, like the verse says, they really think that they're on
Yeah.
the right path, and uh, they
Yeah, I mean, they could praise God instead, you know, and maybe they'll have a good life.
yeah, I mean, like, even what's wrong with that? Like, you could ask them, like, well, let's just like pause, like, let's just pause, and like, you can't, like, it's still good to pray, like, you're just trying to logically, like, okay, like, what about just
Mm-hmm.
praising God just for today?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's still awesome and it's still beneficial. I mean, you're just
Yes.
trying to like get them to even
Mm-hmm.
fathom, and they can't even do that. And I'm like, man, like they're that. I think Brother Jaffer couldn't get his brother or somebody to say, or his mom, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't want to put, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
he
my
just
it was my
your
mother.
mother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
it was
also
like
other people as
impossible for
well.
her. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, really something.
The messenger speaks about it, right? He says like you can ask them, like it's going to be impossible for them to say only, mention only God's name in the Shahada. And they are not going to be able to do that. That's why I started asking, like I started with my mother. And I saw it clearly, they really can't say it.
Yeah, like mine will. I guess it's just different, but like, yeah, like I think Christians and stuff don't have as big of a problem, but I don't think there is a shahada. I mean, like if they did have a shahada, it was like it would be like John 3:16, you know, for God so loved the world, blah blah blah, that he gave. You know, it's just a false verse. But yeah, most of them don't have a problem with like saying God alone or praising God. But then like the other 50% of the time, or 60 or 70, whatever it is, they have to think Jesus, you know.
Yeah, mashallah. Verse 9 is also, very interesting. It talks about God pointing out the paths, including the wrong ones. And it says, if he willed, he could have guided all of you. So God allows them to see these paths. God says, I will even encourage them. And that shows that obviously, God doesn't want people to go astray, but people who choose to go astray, God will show them, the path that they want. Like you see all these corrupt people, you know, and like you're shocked on how they find out all these ways to commit corruption, like all these ways they find out to commit different sins, right? Like, uh, like, for a normal person, like you can't even, it takes some kind of smart. Shouldn't say the word smart, but like you have to be really cunning to come up with ideas on which how you can scam people, right? And you hear stories about people, in so many ways, like how they come up with ideas and schemes to
Mhm.
con other people or to cheat the system, right? And like sometimes I wonder, like, how do these people even think of these ideas? Like, like their mind works in a different direction, right? Uh, like for example, I mean, looking at the present, government, for example, and how many different ways in which they have found ways to cheat the system and ways to, rip people off and get rich. So I mean, it just makes like this shows this is how, I mean, how, for example, God allows these people, to find company with the most wicked people. He makes the wicked people be each other's friends and partners in all of these crimes. Like God obviously protects the believers from all of these things. It's the opposite for the believers. God will protect them from these things, and God will, show them opportunities in which they can strive in His cause and do good things, right? Give them opportunities to spread the message and do righteous works. In the same way, like these people, who just want to do evil, you know, evil comes to them at their door. Like people come and invite them to
Yeah,
commit evil.
like it right. It's almost yeah. Like well, like you had a really good point. I mean, like we're talking about how God encourages them, but yeah, like you mentioned it, it comes right to their door, like literally placed on a platter at their doorstep.
Hmm.
And this actually, I heard it. I probably heard it for the first time a couple weeks ago. The
Hmm.
messenger was talking about the Pope. Like I think they were maybe reading from the Quran, like these
Hmm.
verses, and he was literally talking about how he said the Pope. He said like the people he's decided his path and disbelief and just the blasphemous. However he phrased it, it was much better than what I'm doing now. But he did say this. He said the Pope. He said God showed the Pope like great signs that Mary was, we know the rest of the story, like the Mary, I was Mary was the mother of God, and he said the Pope saw like great signs, like so like uh once the people have decided to be evil and to stick, he said God will help them in that decision. God will encourage them. I would even encourage them. My scheme is formidable, and I thought that was like so amazing. Like the Pope, because you hear him talk about it, like you feel like he's convinced or something, like, or maybe he's just lying. I mean, some people just straight up lie and don't believe it at all. And then you have like the example, like the Pope, he said saw like signs or something that Mary was, the mother, but it was God leading these people astray. But it's because they themselves wanted to pass, and so he will help them in that decision. So just
Right, right.
yeah, I thought that was pretty very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard that. I don't think I heard him explain it like that before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just as you were saying, like these people are literally
Mm-hmm.
invited and shown ways and
Mm-hmm.
given them like on a silver
Yeah.
platter, like how to scheme. Okay, this is, and really it's a punishment for these people too. I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking too, like they're actually increasing the punishment of their hellfire, because God knows how wicked these souls are. These evil people that are running these schemes and are against the United States. I mean, really on a global scale.
Mm-hmm.
Mashallah, that information you had shared the other day, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like these people, he knows how bad and like what's in the souls of these people, and so it's a way to, I guess, too, we could see it as a way like they're increasing their hellfire and their punishment, so now like they're gonna have a whole nother plethora of sins and
Mm-hmm.
transgressions that they've committed, that now they're going to be held
Yeah.
accountable for. All the
Mm-hmm.
people they're oppressing, the money that they're the wealth that they're stripping from the people, and just
Mm-hmm.
the whole list goes on. And so it's it's like
Mm-hmm.
they're yeah, it's like but they don't realize this. Obviously these people
Mm-hmm.
think that they're
They're
gay or
smart.
something. Yeah, they think they're real smart, but they're scheming against themselves. They're the
Mm-hmm.
biggest fools. These people. Yeah, like verse 18. I mean, what we've been talking about. If you count God's blessings, you can not possibly encompass them. God is forgiver, most merciful. So all the blessings that we have,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, just like even our food digestion and stuff, like we could have been I've thought about this before, but like we could have been designed where we'd have to push this this I guess this button, maybe, or some type of uh I don't know, just some type of button on us. We could have been created that way, like, and our skin covers it and we'd have to push it every 2 hours, to release like bile fluids or gastric juices to digest our food. And then if you forget, let's just say you get a stomach ache, like this is what would start happening. You get a stomach ache, you forget, and we would have to wake up. I mean, it could have been like this, but I mean, he automates these things for us. And, uh, like our sleep too, I mean, imagine not being able to sleep, or
Mm-hmm.
like think, yeah, I mean, imagine being up for, I mean, even they've done experiments, people have been up for days, like they were some of these experiments weren't good, but like they would go crazy, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like torture, but he gives us all these nice things uh to remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how the messenger talks about like the eyelids, for example, and then I think he
Mm-hmm.
talks about that billionaire and his daughter or something, or Nias, but God nullified the muscles in his eyelids, and he was trying to pay millions of dollars. I think he was willing to pay millions for a doctor to fix it, but just something like that, you know, like how they're super high tech wipers, and they lubricate the eyes and they clear, you know, other things, and you don't even really notice, you know, like it happening when you blink and these things, and I mean it's you know um, the list goes on and on. I mean, each time, you know, too, we think about these things, like we're growing our soul, right? You know, because we're
Right.
remembering God. Mashallah.
Yeah, and God talks about creating the mountains as stabilizers, you know. So like imagine if the mountains weren't there, like like it says the earth will tumble with you.
Yeah, like what if we
Like
were in a like a state of like an earthquake,
yeah,
like constant, like
yeah,
we would have to build all our buildings, and
yeah.
like we couldn't
Like
play outside,
yeah.
like without.
Yeah, imagine like these tectonic plates, you know, like just floating on on the water, which they wouldn't float on the water, they would just sink. But you know, if they were still at a still there was stuff under it, but you know, they were just like gliding on it, you know, like you'd constantly be floating around, like you're in
Mhm,
a turbulent boat, you know,
mhm.
that could fall, and you couldn't put anything like a glass on the table or anything. You couldn't have roads like structures like bridges and stuff for buildings, you know, things would just collapse.
Yeah, like we could still like been created right that way and survive, but
Hmm.
it would have been very difficult, like very
Yeah.
very difficult, and
Hmm.
um I mean, just like the verse says, mashallah, the one about we wouldn't be able to carry our loads except without like a great hardship, you know, if he didn't create
Hmm.
these animals or vehicles, and gave us the knowledge and stuff on how to, you know, create what we have today. And also, I mean, people still, I think, use horses and stuff for
Hmm.
these things, but I mean, for most of humanity, these were blessings, and they still are. Mhm.
So are there any other questions from anyone? Any any off topic or on topic? So, Brother Jaffer, you have any questions?
Yeah, I was thinking, brother, there was actually one question I wanted to ask. Actually, two, but
Hmm.
I don't remember them right now. Um, if you give me a moment, I was thinking of them.
Hmm.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Sorry I'm late. I dropped my son.
Uh-huh.
Actually,
Yeah.
Mardani told me we should ask.
Uh-huh.
We had one question we wanted to
Uh-huh.
ask in the group, but maybe he will remember.
Uh-huh.
Question.
You remember you said we should ask this in the while we were having the study.
Vaccines.
Uh-huh.
Oh, was that it?
Vaccination.
Was it?
Vaccinations. I think
Mm-hmm.
so. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I
Because
think.
they're like they're playing with certain things when it's about vaccination. They want to sell, right? It's a business, a multi-billion dollar business. So like they say or they tell that it's something we need, but
Hmm.
how true is that, right? Like how
Hmm.
can we trust them? Should we allow our children to be vaccinated? I understand certain up to a certain level, vaccinations can be good, right? Like because they protect you from certain diseases. Um, But where is the limit? Where is the line?
Hmm.
That was like partially a thing we wanted to ask,
Hmm.
actually.
Right. I mean, so my perspective on vaccinations is one, uh, vaccinations are not prohibited, right? But one needs to, first of all, understand, like, uh, I guess you have to do your, first of all, you have to do your research on vaccinations, on what they are, right? For example, like, the way they are supposed to have vaccines is like, you know, someone already got infected and they created antibodies, right? After successfully defeating the virus or whatever it is, right? And so you try to introduce that in other person, right? I mean, from a religious standpoint, there would be nothing wrong with it, right? But the thing is that what's happening is, people are putting in other things that are harmful to the body,
Toxic
you
things,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of, scheming going on too, apparently, from what we hear. Obviously, we're not that uh, literate scientifically to understand, what these people are putting in those vaccines, but there's some things that they're putting in the vaccines that are even very straightforward to understand that are harmful. And then there's other things that they're doing, like, for example, from research and studies that, have been coming out, they're finding out a lot of bad things from a lot of these vaccines, especially the COVID ones, for example, right? And so, so I mean, you have to do your research. I, for myself, like, I was so, like, I remember at one point, this was like maybe 15 years ago. Like, I was pretty healthy, very feeling really good. I remember. And then, there was they're advertising these flu shots, and I think, like, I had never heard of flu shots. I didn't know what they were, I don't know. It's like, I was like, what are they, They're like, yeah, you can get them so you don't get sick, I'm like, oh wow, that's great, and I and I got my flu shot, and the first thing I remember from that, like, for at least a couple of days, like, I was feeling so terrible. I was feeling so sick, like, I never felt like that
Mhm.
before, And after that, after I took that flu shot, like, I kept getting sick, like, every year, from
Mhm.
this, after getting the flu shot. But before getting the flu shots, like, I wasn't, getting sick,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
it
know.
reminds me, I worked, well, I went to high school with some nurses. Like, I later,
Hmm.
when I went to UL, they were in Louisiana. We were number 3 in the nation for our nursing program. And two of the girls I knew, um, well, one of them I think worked at a pet shop I was at, like, part time. But yeah, they said the same thing. Like, they started, I mean, they would have to administer them and stuff, but they didn't believe in them. But
Hmm.
yeah, like, they're not prohibited, but I really encourage people to do research and look up what they're putting in them and the research that's find out, especially like from the COVID vaccine, but also uh, the mRNA vaccines and stuff, and some of these other um,
Hmm.
harmful things that they're putting. Personally, this is just what I believe from the research I've done and
Hmm.
stuff I guess growing up being like looking
Hmm.
into. But I think they're bioweapons.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, all the vaccines are not the same, right? For example, like, if someone wants to convince you of getting vaccines, like, they will tell you about polio and stuff like that, which we know, for historically, like, that's how polio was eradicated, right? That they had these vaccines and stuff created after. But you can use that to create, these chemicals, after that, and just use the same argument over and over. Like you can, just because polio had a vaccine that worked and was legitimate, doesn't mean that all other vaccines are gonna work the same way, right? For example, like the COVID shots, from at least from like a prevention standpoint, like if you take polio vaccine, like you're never gonna get polio, but if you take COVID vaccine, you're still gonna get COVID, right? Like now like how many people get reinfected and stuff like that, and then now there's more research on for example people not being able to women not being able to conceive, etc., after getting the vaccines. And we have like
And
several
also the
other
heart attacks too.
heart attacks, people getting
Yeah.
heart attacks and all kinds of medical complications. I think Huda has a cousin who almost died. He was
Mhm.
he was very athletic and stuff, and after that he got so sick and he left. He was studying in Germany, I think, and then he left his studies and everything. And he got so sick and just came home and has never been the same ever since.
Yeah, they have just for anybody listening, the spike protein. You can detox from this for anybody listening or here. NATO kinase and NAC, and then I think turmeric too is very useful in detoxing from the spike protein that's in these vaccines just out there. But yeah, like I think kind of like Suleiman said, like I mean, you stay fit, in shape, and healthy, and you eat good, and uh, you know, um, you know, uh, take your vitamins and stuff, and you'll, God willing, you'll be okay. God will help
Yeah.
you.
hmm Yeah,
And
I mean, also here, like for example, in the US, if you have pets, they require you like by law in order to get your license and everything, like you have to have your pets vaccinated. And I never vaccinated my pets, like I had dogs and stuff. I never vaccinated them, and they were fine. They
mashallah,
never got sick or anything like
mashallah.
that.
Here the same.
And
Yeah.
I have a cat, so I had to vaccinate and everything, but I didn't do it
Uh-huh.
because it's also a big business for them. It's
Right.
Yeah, it's another thing, like the billions of dollars and stuff they're making, and yeah, it's kind of like unfortunate in a sense. I mean, hopefully, like this will change, but like I just heard from my mother. She told me about my brother. His dog. When he travels, he literally has to. He can't bring it to any. And he's a perfectly healthy dog, very nice, very sweet, really great shape, young and healthy, and they won't take him any of these daycares, these pet daycares, for because he's not vaccinated. So it kind of creates a hardship because then he has to get people to watch him when he's gone. I mean, uh, but yeah, personally, I don't think that's right, but
the
maybe.
scary thing is for the children. It's not just one shot what they want. It's a lots of shots. I don't know about the U.S. My sister lives in the U.S. And it's a lots of shots. She says.
Yeah. US
So
is, yeah, very bad.
Yeah,
so that's
U.S. is
actually
bad.
scary.
But
Uh,
but you can file for exemptions, like that's what we did when I was
Mm,
growing up as a kid. I mean, I got like the tetanus shot and stuff when I was really young, and I don't know if that
yeah.
whatever that, but like after that, I think my parents like realized and stuff, and we would just you could do a religious, like if they try to prevent you from playing sports or something, or soccer, for example, like we had to fill out this paper and just say it's part of our beliefs and our religion, and you're protected, at least in the United States, and I think you should be too, or
hmm
somehow like you can.
Yeah, I think
I
I had
think.
to do the same thing. When I was doing my immigration paperwork, they wanted me to get vaccinated for COVID.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I filed a release exemption.
Oh,
Uh,
subhanallah, that's good.
uh,
Mashallah.
yeah, because I mean, if you think about it from religious, I mean, the thing is, the religious exemption, like the way they want it, like you have to pretty much like put a hard line, like say it's not accepted in my religion. Otherwise,
Mhm.
they will not give
Right,
it to you.
right,
But
right.
the thing is, like, you know that God is your protector, right? If God
SubhanAllah.
wants to protect you from any disease, he can do it,
Mhm,
And I mean, it's not like it's not the same as, for example, you leaving your door open or something, right?
mhm,
You're still, trying to be healthy, trying to jump into a sea of germs or something,
right.
and but you're just doing your part and being a good submitter. Inshallah, God will protect you from all kinds of diseases. But
You're not
obviously,
like,
this is, yeah, yeah,
I'm
but this
sorry,
is
go
really
ahead.
based on fear. This is based on fear. Like, you'll get like
fully,
the
yeah.
same way like insurance. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's
and
still it's
circumcision
more on
too,
the preventive. Yeah,
and
I mean, still more on the
circumcision.
preventative side. Like they will say that you could, like, if you are to get it, like, you won't get it. It's not the same as insurance in the sense that if you get hit, this will cover you. But it's still kind of something that people will take on a people try to sell to others based on fear. um and the thing is, like, if you believe that God is going to protect you, you do all the right things, inshallah, you put your trust in God willing, you're going to be fine, right?
Yeah, it's lots of fear mongering, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not just one shot, and it's lots of
Mm-hmm.
shots for children, and they're,
Yeah.
I don't know, the evil has control over it. I don't believe them. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what they put in these shots, what they are planning,
Mm-hmm.
and and they make a lot of money out of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, exactly as you said, you have to put your trust in God, and then whatever happens, happens. But if I take these shots or give my child all these shots, it's scary, man. I'm more
Mm-hmm.
scared of the shots than of the viruses, really.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like the Gardasil, that devilish governor. Sorry to interrupt, but like the devilish demon governor in Texas. They've had some of the worst governors here, but um, literally there's lawsuits. But if you look back in the early 2000s, I forget his name, but it was the Gardasil vaccine, which is supposed to prevent HPV, human papilloma virus in little girls. A lot of these girls were given, like all of these teenage girls were given the Gardasil vaccine, and they ended up with some severe, uh, I think, reaction. Like some of them got paralyzed from the vaccine, and they got sued. But somehow I forget the governor's tied into this because he's the one who I think either mandated this or was pushing this, and
Yeah.
maybe I don't know if it was not Rick
Mm-hmm.
Perry, but it was some
Mm-hmm.
it was horrible
Yeah.
Texas governor.
And there
Yeah,
is a
at
rise in
least.
autism for children. Autism and
Right.
lots of other diseases. So I don't know, man, what they're planning. But
Yeah.
Well, what they're finding now, the autism, so is the accumulation of the metals, are I think lead, arsenic in the brain, and that's what is causing these early stages of autism. And you can actually like detox from this stuff. They won't tell you this, with time and with God's help. But they have linked it to vaccines now. At least the MMR vaccine or MMRA, but because it has a substantial portion of heavy metals and stuff in it. But like for anybody listening, I really think just do the research and stuff. And I mean, the main message here is to put your trust in God and not like Suleiman and others have mentioned. Don't give in to fear and go pay people money to put some foreign substance in you. Because we're starting to see like all these bad consequences that are happening as side effects. I mean, uh,
tons, tons of side effects. It's crazy. I've met personally lots of people after COVID. They got sick. So many people. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Especially from the COVID, a lot of
Yeah,
people getting sick.
especially
Yeah.
from the COVID. Yeah. So me and brother Jafar was discussing this. Like, what should we do? I was like, I'm not gonna do it. If I die, I die in a natural way.
Oh yeah. Okay. So look at this. I just looked it up. Yeah, it was Rick Perry in February 2007. He issued. I mean, look how like evil this is. I mean, like talk about infringing upon our rights as humans. But he executive order by Texas governor in 2007 issued an executive order directing that girls entering the sixth grade be vaccinated with Gardasil, which is the HPV vaccine. I mean, like what I mean, like the insanity of this, like like these are little girls. Like leave them alone. Like they're not even matured, and even if they were, they don't need this. But yeah, um, but they ended up having a lot of these girls. I think became paralyzed and stuff, and then there was a huge amount of backlash after the fact. But yeah, it's
Right.
so sad. Um,
So, are there any other comments or questions from anyone? Brother Jafar, were there any other questions you had? You said?
No, brother, that was the
Oh,
thing.
okay, okay,
I think there was
okay.
also one other, but I don't remember yet. That this was
Mhm,
2 weeks ago, and then we forgot to
mhm,
ask about
mhm.
it.
Yeah,
God willing,
anything
we'll.
about the Turkish Quran study?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's a good one. Yeah, we have visitors that came from Turkey, family of
Uh-huh,
my wife, so a
uh-huh,
lot of them. So I wasn't really able to do it, but God
uh-huh.
willing, we will again, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah, yeah.
Good point.
I yeah, I enabled, like, the calling thing was broken before. People weren't able to get calls when it's time
Mhm,
for study, but I think now it will start working, and God willing, as soon as the new update I'm pushing is
mhm,
out too, so these things will start working a
mhm.
little bit better. So I hope that when you guys set a time, for the study, then if you keep it at that time, that is scheduled,
Yeah, that would
then
be better.
you
Yeah.
can get more consistent audience and
That's right.
participants, in the study,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
everybody will get the call at the right time, you
Inshallah,
know.
brother. So for
So,
the this last yesterday, because I couldn't do, I was planning to do tomorrow actually,
hmm,
this one, and then next week, Friday again, God willing. So
okay.
basically the day is actually Friday. Like that's the whole
Uh-huh.
thing we agreed on. And then if
Hmm.
Friday doesn't work out, then
Friday, was it at 7 o'clock Turkish?
Friday 19.
Yes,
No,
yeah,
actually,
7 p.m. Yeah, yeah.
my time, 19 in the Netherlands, not Turkey time.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I'll check again the time
Inshallah,
that's
brother. Yeah,
there.
thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yes.
All right. So I guess if there are no other comments or questions,
Mhm.
God willing, we can conclude the study today. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Brother John, for leading the study. God willing, our next English Quran study would be on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. God bless you all. Assalamu alaikum.
God bless you all. Thank you so much.